Hello and welcome to This Day Devo. My name is Pastor Guy, and today we read 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 through chapter 4, verse 11. And in this letter written to strangers, foreigners, Christians living in a world that is not their home, a world that does not fully accept who they are, living for that eternity in heaven, even under persecution, we have been constantly reminded that we are to stay the course and live godly lives with that heaven in sight because of what Christ accomplished for us on the cross. And we use him as our example to live by. As we become more and more Christ-like throughout our life. And so we've looked at those as Peter's been teaching us about some different areas of life, and now he takes it into family relationships, into marriage, talking about what it looks like to be a godly and loving wife, what it looks like to be a husband that is godly, who is honoring and treating his wife well, and then turns that right into all Christians. So he does that, break it down, and then at the end he's like, okay, now that I've given you some specifics, now that I've spoken to certain people or certain Christians in certain seasons or situations of life, now let me just cover this whole thing with paint. All right, here's your umbrella. All Christians, you need to be of one mind. All Christians, you need to sympathize with each other. All Christians, you need to love each other as brothers and sisters. All Christians, you need to be tender-hearted. You need to keep a humble attitude. You don't need to repay evil for evil. You don't need to insult after insult after insult. You go back with blessing, just like Jesus called us to not respond with evil, but to respond with love and prayer for those who persecute us. And God will give you blessings for doing the things that he's called you to do. It's this blanket approach to understanding that we need to love each other, that we need to show the love of Christ by how we're godly towards each other, and that he will absolutely honor that in this calling that he's placed upon our lives. And so love embodies all of that. Love covers all of that. And as we're living godly lives and living to please God, we love one another. And this is attractive to those who aren't in the church. And this is attractive to those who we walk with in life. And so I think you and I have a desire to live lives that are attractive in godly ways. That's the way that we should live. That's the way that you and I need to approach our lives. And all of these things about lifestyle that are expressed in this are things that are attractive and are, on the whole, not difficult, but also not something that's going to be on the cover of the latest trendy magazine. It's not what the world wants to talk about, but it's what makes life good and rich and godly, and that is when I love, and that is when I sympathize with others, and that is when I approach everything with a tender-heartedness. It's when I have a humble attitude. It's when I'm willing to take one for the team in Jesus' name. And so this is the way that we need to live. And in doing so, we will be striving to outserve each other in love. Because God has given you a spiritual gift. He has. We see that at the conclusion of all of this. He says, God has given each of you a gift that has from his great variety of spiritual gifts. And so what do we do with those? We use them to serve one another well. There is a gift. There is some talent. There is some passion. There is some ability that God has instilled in you that is unique to the way that he designed you, that can be used to serve one another in love. And that is attractive, far more attractive than just new jewelry. Because as Christians, we're attractive from the inside out. That's so much more important to take care of that, your inner self, and how you live this godly life. And so that's what's precious and that's what's beautiful, because the outward will fade, but the inside, the soul and the beauty that is precious to God, that can get ever more beautiful. And so I love you. I'll see you. Have a good day. Bye.
Word sent down from heaven as the power of Christ.